Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, today we're going to talk about that age old knee jerk reaction of the White House to go directly towards an assault weapons ban, even when it makes 0 sense across the board. That's what we're going to discuss. Everything will be linked in the description box below. I'm going to say a quick word from our sponsor, and then we are going to hit it, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think in the comments field below. I know a lot of you out there like to upgrade and modify your own guns. And if you're looking for a way to take your hobby to the next level, Sonoran Desert Institute can help. The online programs at SDI cover armor courses, gunsmithing, ballistics, shooting sports management, and more. Plus, all the tools and materials are shipped directly to your door. There's never been a better time to dive into something that you would actually use for your life, so what are you waiting for? There's a link in the description box below, and thank you to SDI for sponsoring this content. Alright, my brothers and sisters, as I mentioned in the intro and we talked about, there is always a knee-jerk reaction to go to the most extreme version of gun control you can imagine from people like Biden, Harris, gun control orgs. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter any of the situation on the ground. It doesn't matter the previous existing circumstances. It doesn't matter the existing gun control. It doesn't matter. There is never a circumstance where my prescription for control will not work. That is the mode of what we're talking about here. This is incredibly important to understand because I'm about to lay out everything that has to do with the Virginia tragedy that just occurred and everything that was on the ground before Biden and the White House come out and say, well, it's time to take an assault weapons ban to task. Check this out, okay? First of all, from Everytown for gun safety, I'm showing you on the screen right now, again, everything is linked. Virginia is number 14 on their list of gun safety states. For example, Virginia took a huge step forward in 2020, enacting a historic slew of gun violence prevention laws, all at the NRA's backyard, a little stab at the NRA. State law now requires background checks on all firearm sales. That's universal background checks. Restricts access to firearms by people in crisis and disarms domestic abusers. You got universal background checks, you got red flag laws, and it disarms of domestic abusers. Those are all the wish list of the gun control organization. Let's keep going because, like I said, this is not just an isolated thing. UVA, the University of Virginia, where this tragedy occurred. Regulation of weapons, fireworks, and explosives. Weapons. Members of the university community, the possession, storage, or use of any weapon by a university student, faculty, employee, contractor, trainee, or volunteer is prohibited on university property. Okay? So you can't have one if you're a member of the student body in any way. General public and visitors. The possession, storage, or use of any weapon by the general public or visitors in prohibition is prohibited on university property in academic, administrative, athletic, entertainment, or student residence buildings. Completely prohibited. So now, on a state level, you have complete control from a perspective of gun control in Virginia. Then you have the University of Virginia, which also prohibits gun access across the entire board. So you have state and you have the educational entity here. Well, let's look what Biden said in response to the tragedy that occurred, because sometimes crime just happens. White House response to University of Virginia shooting invokes assault weapons ban. Okay? Keep in mind, this was all a handgun. Handgun, not assault weapon, handgun. In a state that is ranked number 14 by Everytown for gun safety, has all the gun control wish list of gun control orgs, and is prohibited on the university list. But let's keep going. Within hours of police arresting a suspect in the fatal shooting of 3 University of Virginia football players, the White House called for an assault weapons ban, even though the suspect was alleged to have used a handgun in the killings. It's kind of like there's a knee-jerk reaction automatically to control. Even though it has no standing on the exact existing circumstances on the field, it has nothing to do with the actual crime committed. It's just an opportunity to say what you want to say. Let's continue. If you need any more evidence of this, check this out. Quote, too many families across America are bearing the awful burden of gun violence, the White House said, before invoking President Biden's signing of the most significant gun safety law in nearly 3 decades earlier this year, talking about the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act that was all about red flag funding. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say on one level, oh, we have done the most that has ever been done before in the history of humankind. And then at the same time say more has to be done because the existing thing we already passed, which was the single best thing in 30, 40 years, didn't work. The whole point here is all of the gun control proposals that they are putting forward in the Bipartisan Safety Communities Act, all the gun control proposals that are in Virginia, all the gun control proposals that are on the University of Virginia, all of them did nothing to prevent a criminal from criminaling This is a terrible tragedy, and I don't want this anywhere in the world, but to look at the situation and see anything other than a symptom of the cultural rot that we're experiencing is irresponsible and, quite frankly, idiotic. But let's continue. I got a couple more quotes for you. Quote, "But we must do more," it's the White House again. "We need to enact an assault weapons ban to get weapons of war off America's streets," the White House said before taking a subtle jab at Republicans. House Democrats acted, and the Senate should follow. Again, assault weapons ban, handgun. There is no way to draw a correlation here. The entire point here is this is control, and it is utilizing crisis for control. Let's keep going. I got last thing, and then we'll send you on your Tuesday. Congress passed a bipartisan gun control bill in June after a spate of mass shootings from Buffalo, New York to Uvalde, Texas. Still, the bill stopped short of more stringent restrictions than Democrats have been pushing for, including the reinstatement of the assault weapons ban that Biden called for, which passed by Congress in 1994 but expired 10 years later. They want to go straight back to the assault weapons ban, and mark my words, right here on this channel on this day, they will not stop there if they get that. And that's a big if. And that's what we do every single day, and I hope that you enjoy this content. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.